Hey creatives, Karen here, mixed media artist and creative at By the Wolf Moon. Today I've decided to do a bit more work in my dragon altered book, and in my 2021 year of creative self-indulgence playlist you will see the video for of me creating the cover for this book, and it will show you what the book looked like beforehand. And so now it's time to work on the inside. So all I have done so far is cover the pages in other book pages, which you can see me doing here. So basically these are book pages that I have used the images from for other projects, and the scraps I keep and I use those to lay down a base on my altered book pages for my art journals or whatever type of altered book I'm doing. And I use either Mod Podge or PVA glue to do that. They give a slightly different surface. Both work well, and it's all going to be covered up anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. The reason that I do this is because it gives me a really nice firm base to work on for the page. So the covers, I don't bother putting the book page on, I just put some more paper towel on to give that slight texture. And then on this page, which is the first page that we're going to start working on, I have put a thin coat of gesso, just white gesso, and I'm going to start building layers on top of that. So the first thing that I have done, I have an idea of what I want this book to be, and it's going to be a picture book, like a picture story book. Each page is going to tell the next part of the story, and I have the idea of the story in my head. And I'll do the first page on camera with you and show you how I do it, and then I will finish the book and come back and do a flip through for you of it, so you can see how it turned out. Alright, so to start off with, I have drawn a very crude drawing of what you can hopefully tell as a dragon snout. And I love the word snout, it's such a cool word. Anyway, so you'll have heard me say, if you've watched any of my videos before, that I am not what I would call a good drawer or sketcher or artist in that way. And if you ask me if I can draw, I will say no way. Ask me to draw something and I can't. I have this mental block. So that is a fear probably that I am overcoming. And because as I am doing more and more art work, and because I use fairly basic materials and don't have a lot of purchased craft supplies, you probably know already, or you might know already, that I specialize in using vintage, pre-loved and repurposed items rather than buying new. So I don't use digitals, and I'm not saying that I won't use digitals, because there's nothing wrong with using them. It's just that I don't have a printer. Well, I have a very basic printer that doesn't have any ink at the moment, and so, it's just not easy for me. So I find myself needing more and more often to draw images that I want if I can't find one in a book that I already have or something like that. So I am having to face my fear of not being able to draw, and this block that I have, and actually just do my best. So forgive me if this is not a particularly accomplished dragon snout, but it's alright, and you get the idea. And so this is what I'm going to be using in my art journal. Now, to preserve my original drawing, in case I need it again later. I am just going to trace it onto a piece of baking paper, what we call baking paper here in New Zealand, and then I will use that what I've traced rather than my original image. So I will do this and speed it up so you don't have to watch that, and be back shortly. Okay, now that I've done that and sat here staring at it for I don't know how long, I've decided that because I was going to put it directly onto the background and then just do the background around it, but I've changed my mind. I'm going to do the background first and then put this on afterwards. So background. Now I need to decide what I am going to do there. Most people know what they're doing before they start the video camera, but not me. I never know what I'm doing before I start working. It just evolves as I go along. Right. What I do want is something like that. Okay, well that's been drying, or just for a few minutes. I've been looking at trying to get a concept going for what I'm doing. So it is still a little bit wet, but I am very impatient, so I'm going to continue. Now I have this, which is the Folk Art Painted Finishes, and it is the Rust Effect one. It comes with two colours, a kind of a bright orangey colour and then a dark brown colour, and they have a texture to them which is supposed to come out like rust. And I don't really have an opinion on whether it does or not, but I like the texture in it. I find it useful, so for other things as well. So I am going to take the darker brown and use it for the ground. Can you see that? It has kind of a gritty texture. One thing that I want to be aware of is that the page will need to close, so I don't want to put too many layers in that crease, or too much thickness in that crease, because although the book is going to stand up and be open, I still want it to be able to close a little bit so that it's easy to read and work on. It's all very dark. It'll become clear what I'm doing as I go along to both yourselves and me. Now I have some fibres. Being a sewer, I have the luxury of having a lot of different fibres, and I basically keep everything. So even the tiny little scraps and threads, threads that I've cut off and stuff like that. And basically I'm just making a little mess of fibres, different textures and thicknesses, and kind of mixing it all together. Probably don't need that much. Okay, another pot, just some PVA, chuck it in. Ooh, look at that, messy. Here we go. Now I'm definitely going to have to let that dry. No more impatience. So I will be back. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I decided I can actually do something else. I have cut this kind of egg shape from just a plastic ball thing that my daughter picked up from somewhere. I think it had an ice cream or something in it. and because I can't throw anything out, it has now become an art material. So I've cut this kind of egg shape from it, and what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for that to dry is put some PVA, use it as a mold, put some PVA on it, and tear up some tiny little pieces of paper towel, one of my favourite art materials. And simply paper mache this over the top. So I want it to be quite sturdy, so I'm going to have to do a few layers of the paper towel. And then let it dry really, really well. That's probably enough layers for now. I should let it dry and then come back and put a few more layers on. Okay, I'll let that dry and come back and put another few layers on. Okay, I am back. It has been a day or two. I got caught up doing some other stuff, but I'm back now to try and finish off this page with you. So where I left it was I had put some paper towel onto this plastic kind of oval shaped thing. And that's dry now, and I've peeled it off. You could use a teaspoon, the back of a teaspoon, a metal teaspoon or a plastic teaspoon or something like that. And I basically just wanted the slight curve in it. So it's got a few layers of paper towel, maybe 6, which I put 2 or 3 layers on, let it dry completely, and then put another 3 or 4 layers on. And so I will trim that, but for now I'm going to put it aside and work on more of the background on this page. Just remember, I am not an artist, not a painter or anything like that. Have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just playing and doing what I think gives the effect that I'm trying to create. So this little nest that I made is completely dry now, and I probably should have waited to do that after I have done the background painting, but I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to do with the background, and I'm still not, if I'm honest, but I'm going to get it done now. So let's go. Let's see how we go. Probably did not want that much. I've probably said this already in this video, but I can't remember since it's been a day or two. But most of the art supplies I use are pre-loved, so there's not really any point giving you brands or anything like that I use, because I specialize in using stuff that someone else doesn't want anymore, basically giving it a new life and saving it from landfill. Okay, don't know what I'm doing, let's just do it anyway. We want it a bit lighter than that, don't we? Yes, we do. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, really not knowing what I'm doing at all, is create the illusion of depth, maybe in the forest with light and dark, and yeah, that sort of thing. Now, and I guess I probably want to point out here that my goal in doing these videos is really not to teach you anything. It's really because, believe me, I know I am not at a level where I can claim to be an artist worthy of learning from, but my goal is really to inspire people to give stuff a go, regardless of how good they think they'll be at it or not, or regardless of whether they know what they're doing. Just have a go, because man, there's so much fun and freedom in just being creative for fun, you know. So yeah, I guess by putting this out here with the knowledge that I really have no idea what I'm doing, I'm just doing it, my goal is to inspire other people to create for the joy of it, not to, you know, not to be the best artist that there is out there or anything like that. And I'm sure that lots of people who create, that's not their goal at all, and lots of people do create just for the joy of it. But I'm really wanting to inspire people who might be blocked from doing stuff like painting or drawing or whatever, to just give it a go, even if they don't know what they're doing, just for fun. Just start with a blank page and see what happens. Because honestly, every single one of us had no idea what we were doing at one stage, right? And also because I've been blocked by that feeling of not wanting to try because I don't think I'll be any good, because I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, so I guess that's what my message is. Just give stuff a go. And it'll look like something. Maybe you'll be the only person that knows what it looks like, like me, but it'll still look like something. And you never know, you might inspire, I mean, you might surprise yourself and inspire yourself, hopefully, to carry on. Okay, I don't know what that looks like, but I think that'll do. It looks very messy. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, now I had this idea of using this really cool paper that I have that is actually a type of paper that they use in packaging now for like protecting stuff. So it came in something that I got, and you can see it's really, so it's flat and it looks like this, and then when you pull it, it's kind of a honeycomb effect and it's 3D. So I had thought that I would put this on the page, but because I'm going to have the dragon face slightly off the page now, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to leave the background like that, put the dragon on, and see what happens after that.